What's going on? Welcome back for part two. Can someone in the comments make sure I click the go live button before I start talking anything about the project?
You got to be live this time, right? It says live in the top left-hand corner, so you're good.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay, so the tank is now all drained out. I've got all the fish out of there. There is a little bit of mulm still at the bottom. I'm not worried about that. The soil's going to weigh that right down. And so now we're going to fill it back up. So thank you so much, Grant, for coming on with me again for part two today.
Oh, no problem. I think the most interesting thing you got to let people in on is the fact that you caught 12 more plecos.
Yeah, I caught about 12 more plecos while I was away from the camera. And so that's super exciting. I decided to sacrifice my little pond pump that I use for my water changes on the Caradina tank. So that's now not okay to use in that tank, just in case there's any parasites like planaria in the 75 gallon. I definitely don't want to introduce that into my
I'd be more worried about the blackbeard algae. You use that for your water changes, and then all your tanks is going to have it.
Yep. So that pump now is going to hit the graveyard probably, or maybe I'll just bleach it and kind of hope for the best, test it on a Neo tank.
If you just let it run in some bleach and water and then just let the bleach dilute, you don't want to have any issues going forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll go through the welcome list real quick, and then we'll get right back at the project. So we have Nate here. How you doing? Annette is here. Shelby showed up. What's up? We got Vibes. Very awesome to meet you over at the Clash. Steve is here. How you doing? Scatty Nona. Scrolling. Nathan's here. How you doing? And we have June from Only Oscars. Okay, I'm going to start filling it in with the land and soil real quick. And I have hit 600 subscribers now, and I haven't done an official giveaway on my channel. So why don't we do hashtag 600, and we'll get a giveaway going. I've got some moss over here and some moss mounts from Poseidon's Pets, so that'll be the first one.
What was the hashtag? I don't see anybody participating.
Hashtag 600, 600.
All right. There we go. We got a couple people now.
So this is the soil that I'm using. It's Landon brand. I've heard good things about it, so we're going to test it out and find out.
So the most important thing to know about the soil that Tim is using is you want to make sure that it does not dry out. There is a little bit of water in the tank, so that's surely going to help. But does he have a spray bottle on hand to keep it nice and moist? That's the question, people. So Nate asked how long.
I have a spray bottle here. Got to fill it quick.
Oh, nice. So if you were to set this up for a shrimp tank, I recommend running it for 30 days just to build up the biofilm. I don't believe Landon has an ammonia leach. I think ADA is the only real soil that you have to worry about the ammonia leaching out. But besides that, I would just cycle it for 30 days no matter what, just to be safe for the biofilm alone. But if you had to use it in a pinch in an emergency, it could, in theory, be ready to use right away. But you never really want to do that.
So
Vibes
this
gotta go
soil,
back to work. Take care, Vibes.
this soil is actually pretty much bone dry right out of the bag.
Yeah. It's also weird how those things are like vacuum sealed dry then, huh? Because like there's no pinholes in those bags, or if there is, they were like vacuumed out pinholes.
Yeah, I mean, these bags are definitely vacuum packed. That plastic's tight to the soil, and it's like a brick. But
I
definitely not.
worry if they're pulling out all the moisture in the bag too. Landon is one of the cheaper options of soil available on Amazon, so it's definitely a cheap use. I have been getting a few people that do not like it. Ed actually set up some tanks with it. He doesn't like it. One of my tanks up top is Landon soil, and it was not very successful with our tang tie, which I understand. I threw a ton of shrimp in the tank, but I'm not too happy with it. But for plants, it should be great. And then Nate says, how does it compare to Brightwell? I do believe if you're buying the bigger bags and you can get them for around $80 a piece, it is still a better deal than the Landon.
So one thing I noticed, there's like little wood chips in the soil mixed in. It was in all 5 of the bags that I put in there.
Yeah.
Just something to note. I don't know if that's going to cause any sort of issue or anything, but
Shrimp King has the same thing, and that's like the only thing that I complain about. And I really wouldn't complain about it in your situation. I more like to complain about it because it's a display shrimp contest, and you've got a bunch of like little twigs and sticks mixed into the substrate. We do our best to like pull it out, but it's like extra work that the volunteers and me and Shelby have to do to prep for the shrimp contest. So it is a little bit annoying, but I don't think it affects anything.
oh, okay.
And then Big Shrimpin asked, do you guys have any experience with the Kadama soil or the bonsai soil? So I have 8 tanks set up with it up top, and I've talked to a few of the shrimp breeders that use it quite often. Carrick is one especially that says it just sucks up all the nitrogen out of the tank, and it makes it very hard for plants to grow at all. We grow a ton of moss, and it grows just fine in our brown Brightwell tanks or the other, the Scaper soil from Dennerly comes in brown also. And those tanks are no problem at all with the moss or anything. It's just the Echidna just does not really do well for anything that wants to have nutrients. But the shrimp do fine in it. I prefer to have something that's going to really grow the moss and actually pay for itself in moss by the end of its lifespan, if not 10 times over.
So I just went over to the Fish Fam giveaway tool, and my stream isn't popping up. I don't know if it hasn't been scheduled for long enough to show in here, but we'll give it a few more minutes and see if it'll allow me to create a giveaway. If not, we'll just have to use the StreamYard giveaway tool. So I'm going to fill the squirt bottle real quick, get that soil a little bit moist, and then we'll start planting stuff in.
So how thick of a... Oh, he probably walked away altogether. All right. He probably can't hear me. I'm assuming that that's a good 2-inch layer of substrate up front. Crip, how deep do you think it is?
It's a 2 knuckles.
2 inches?
Yeah, 2 knuckles. Came up to here.
Yeah. And that's probably enough for Crips.
It was 5 bags total that I put in there.
I think I used 3 bags for our 55-gallon tank. But it's not as wide as your 75. Are you going to slope it at all, front to back?
Yeah, I am. Yep.
Good Natty Noda asked, do the wood chips float? I
We'll
don't
find out.
think they always do. I think some of the little bits and pieces do, but the thicker sticks kind of sink, I think. Bob asked what substrate it is. Is it? It is Landon.
I can hold the bag back up in a second for y'all.
Eric Wyrock and Stephen P just joined.
What's up, Eric and Steven?
Steven said, yeah, I didn't get notified about this stream either. I think it's because it was set up really last minute. Didn't get a chance to get the notifications out. And then Nate the Shrimp Net said the 2 tanks with Brightwell in them have definitely paid for themselves in plant and moss for sure. Yeah, that's why I find like the initial cost for the aqua soil is so much worth it, and that's why we did aqua soil out in the tubs outside at first, but it is just growing way more algae than it was plants, so it really didn't make it worth it outside. But inside in low light conditions, it really does wonders. So what crip are you planting now?
So this one here is the Jacobsoni pink.
It's a pink?
Yep. Jacobsoni, or however you say that name. This is one I just got off from an auction on Facebook about a month and a half ago or so. And it's one I've been wanting for a while. Bentley Pasco said it was his favorite and explained why. And it does look really nice now that I've seen it in person. So definitely glad that I have some.
Now you're probably a master being the name Cryptkeeper, but do you know like the sweet spot where most people like to plant their crypts?
They like to leave the crown slightly white because it's going to send off runners a little bit more frequently.
Yeah. So
but I'm going to allow these to get established first, and then I'll gently wiggle them up just a little bit after the roots stay down nice and strong.
That's the other good method that I like to use. It's really hard to get them to stay. So what I like to do is I like to try and get the roots buried as little bit as possible. That'll still keep the plant from like leaning all the way over on its side or stuff. And then letting it grow and establish and then pulling it up like you had just mentioned. Red Laser just joined us. How's it going?
What's up, Red Laser?
Nate said, so Ostertang really loves Brightwell, trimming every 2 to 3 weeks. If you just let the Ostertang establish and start going, we used to have a volleyball-sized, perfectly round portion in our 40-gallon Tangerine Tiger tank. And I'm pretty sure I have Ostertang on any kind of aqua soil. And it just really does really well. It's an easy one. That's why we like to throw it in the mixed moss containers, so it gives somebody a good head start chance of growing some nice moss.
This next one here is one that I got for the clash, but it started melting on me just before going. This is the Wendetii Mi Oya. and it's got a little bit of a pink on the underside of the blade of the leaf, so that's pretty cool. And it's one of the only crypts that have a single origin, from what I've read, and that's the Mioya River.
That's interesting. I've not had very much luck with that one. I've only tried to start it with tissue culture, though. I think there's like one. No, that's Petechii, Petchii. I think the Moya is outside. It's still hanging on by like a thread. The Mimic Nature said, how do you propagate Cryptspiralis? Can you propagate top cuttings? Does it send runners? So you can't trim and plant the cuttings. That's not going to work for Spiralis. It does send runners, though. I have like a little bookshelf tank with Spiralis that we sell almost all of ours out of. It just kind of sends a good amount of runners and pups, just like a chainsword does. And also, you'll get like a mother plant that'll grow like side onion bulb like crypts off of it, as well as the runners that get sent out and try to branch out throughout the tank. So that's going to be basically the same with all the crypts. They do flower, they do produce a seed, but like that's going to be crazy if you can find any of them that actually produce a seed. I don't even think they get a chance in the wild to do that often. That's why they send so many runners. And that's what Stephen P said. It sends runners like crazy.
Have you ever had any crypts flower underwater for you?
Never underwater. Always above water, though. I mean, not always, but like I have seen it above water. A few times we've gotten crypts from the nursery and they've been flowered, but like the nursery keeps them immersed growth too. So,
Yep.
Gina's Reef, welcome.
Hey, Gina.
Johnny asks, "What's the most expensive crypt?" I honestly don't know the name or like which one would be the most expensive. Off of the top of my head, pink flamingos are like one of the most expensive that are actually common. Without getting like into some of the rarer types and stuff like that, like I'm sure like a red spiralis might be just as expensive as a pink flamingo. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But I know there's some rare types of
I've got
crypts that
some
get pretty
crypt,
pricey.
rosin maiden that was 25 a plantlet.
The Rosin Maiden was 25.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the most expensive one that I have right now.
So, I got a couple crypts also growing in a tub outside. I got to get you to identify. But Jeff Palham's Aquatics, how's it going? Welcome.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing? So, for those of you just tuning in, hashtag 600, and I'm going to do a giveaway for some moss and some moss mounts.
Stephen P said, Cryptscapes are a slow reward. It took 1 year for me to like mine. You got your own personal Crypt Keeper Aquascape? I'll have Shelby here to like half chuckle at my bad jokes. Bob said, what is the hashtag for? Tim is giving away some moss and moss ledges. Is that it?
They're moss mounts. I've got two different tables here to give away. One's a round one, and the other's a rectangle.
All right. Crypt Rosen Maiden has flowered under water twice for me, but no other crypt has, said Stephen P. And Jenna said hers flowered underwater once.
So I've got mini Christmas moss here, a nice 4-ounce portion, and then these 2 moss tables. That way you can tie them on and let them grow and move them all around as you wish. And someone was asking what soil I was using, so here's the bag once more. And I put 5 bags of that in the 75 gallon. Okay, up next we're gonna open up the bag of stuff that I got from Eddie's Aquarium Center.
What is that?
These here are crypts that I got from Eddie's Aquarium Center out in just outside of Albany, New York. It's like an hour from here. So this is Cryptocilii. I've got 3 pots of this.
Is it just a single plant in each pot?
It looks like there's a couple plantlets coming up. That's really small in that first one.
They didn't come with labels then, huh?
No, they did not.
I'm interested when you open up the rock wool, is there the Osmocote little balls inside of it as well?
I'll be checking in just a second.
Because those are the same cups, same rock wool, same bags that Waterscapes uses, but that's not a plant that Waterscape sells in pots. So I'm curious if somebody bought the pots and made them themselves. That one's got like 2 or 3 plants in it, eh?
Yeah, yep. All right, so we'll start with the smaller one that I pulled out first.
And Nate said, I wish I had luck with the crypt Tim sent me, but every time I tie it down, my rubber, my pleco rips it loose, but he will not touch my boost. Kind of really weird. I just think that the pleco is softer and it's easier for them to eat. And the boost is just a harder, sturdier plant.
So there wasn't Osmocote in there, but there was this little black sandy stuff inside. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they just pulled it out of their aquarium and then just wrapped it in rock wool and either sold it to the pet store or the pet store did it themselves.
Got a few little plantlets here. So I'm just going to plant them all in one clump.
How much were those pots?
15
each?
Yep.
And Johnny Best asked Grant, what is your favorite crypt? I actually, my favorite crypt is the mini parvo. It's the tiniest crypt and it makes for amazing aquascape fillers. So you need a plant in the back to create more depth, or if you're just trying to make a little tiny nano tank, I don't think there is a better plant out there than the mini crypticorn parvo for like trails and just creating that back depth of the tank. So that is my favorite of all time. Do you have any? You have like a very small amount of mini parvo, huh?
Yeah, just like 4, maybe 5 little plantlets of it.
You should plant it in the front of the tank and try to get the whole front of it to carpet like Shelby's little 10-gallon Dennerli aquascape. It's like the coolest carpet I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures of the crypt parva and parva mini carpets, and they definitely do look really awesome, especially once the shrimp start crawling on it.
Yeah. Peacock dudgeons actually spawned, and there was like 300 babies in the aquarium. And I messaged Jason from Primetime Aquatics. I'm like, hey man, should we take the the parents out or leave them in? And he's like, yeah, take them out. And we caught 3 of them and thought that's all that there was, and found another one eating all the babies the next day. It was very upsetting.
Then this one here is Cryptosteriana. If I can find the end of it.
Eusteriana?
Yeah, I believe that's how you say that word. This is going to be going in the background of the tank. I bought every single one that they had. They were $5 per plantlet. I think there was 8 of them that they had left. So I'll put these on the other corner back here.
Nate said my boosts flower all the time. This is really cool. That's a first for me. So our boosts flower more than any other plants underwater. And then I would say Anubis is a hard second. Nathan said, I never heard of moss tables before. Well, that I can recall anyways. Very cool. I don't have very much luck with the plastic moss accessories. So I just let the moss go and float and do its thing. And if it attaches to something, it attaches to something. Coro said, I want to get a shallow tank and play around with boosts in it. Do a whole bookshelf of it. Yeah, that's really cool. Shelby actually did a aquascape on a bookshelf tank with Dragonstone and boosts only for a contest. And I think the contest, like halfway through it, changed their rules because everybody was just entering scapes with like a little bit of boost, and nobody really had 80% boost like what it originally was asking for. So Shelby did it 95% boost. I think there was two or three stems in the back of the plant tank just to fill it out just a little bit to hide the filter, and other than that, it was all boost.
Yeah, I love boost, but it grows way too slow. If you think crypts grow slow, get some boost.
Yeah, boost is the slowest growing plant that I have besides like boost moss. It's such a fitting name when you know how slow they both grow.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got some of that boost moss from you at the Keystone Clash, so I'm excited to see how that looks as it grows out.
Did you not get some at the original Keystone Clash?
No, I didn't. I forget which mosses I brought home that day from you, but I think it might have been the Taiwan moss that day and something else.
So it's your first time getting the boost moss off me then?
Yes. Yep.
I know I had it at like the Aquashella no, maybe not. No, I don't know.
You weren't vending at the Aquashella.
That's why I was like, no, maybe not. No, that's why I was like, I don't know. But I do have like 2 or 3 different tanks where I'm growing quote unquote boost moss because boost moss is just like a generic term for any moss that is growing off of any part of boost that you get collected or, you know what I mean, sent in. I've got like at least 2 different types. I've got the one that you got at the Keystone Clash that grows very, very flat, very, very slow. And then I have another one that just does like a little kind of curl. It like grows down for a second and then grows up. It's very weird, but very, very slow grower. It's also tangled up in some Taiwan moss. So
yeah, I think we're gonna put the Wendetti Brown right about in here. So these are some leftover plants from the Clash that I've got.
You gonna be able to remember all these?
Yeah, I've got the video playing, so I'll go back and label each of their locations later.
Thought you were going to be like, no, I can identify them, Grant.
No, I'm not that good. Crypts are so difficult to identify until they flower.
Yeah, that's I didn't know how well our red Wendini tubs are going outside. They're actually doing really, really nice. So I'm really looking forward to those. I'm kind of like risking a lot of plants outside during the winter time. I know we could have a mild winter and all the plants be fine, but I kind of want it to be like a harsh winter and figure out what can go outside and survive the winter no problem, and then what I should, either figure out a greenhouse for or just bring them inside, because they're just stackable tubs. So on a hard freeze or something like that, I can just load up a bunch of them right by the back door of the house and keep them where it's nice and warm. And then once it warms up, because it only freezes and drops really low temperatures at the night here in Florida, and then by like 12 o'clock, it's back up to like 70 degrees from the sun. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
very few days does it not get back up into the 70s.
I wish the weather was like that up here. It'd be so much nicer.
Yeah, well, you got buffalo wings. You can't have nice weather.
Okay, so there's all that. Over here in the back corner, I do want to put some other tall crypt. I was thinking of the spiralis or something back there. I believe you have something that you said you wanted me to try out up here.
Yeah, I'll send you the red spiralis for sure.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I can send you a list of all the other crypts that I have and see if you want anything else. I also got some that I don't know the identification on. So you could have at them. I think they're like Balinese or something, Valencia or something like that. I can't remember the exact name,
Balance.
but huh?
Balance.
Maybe. I got like curly, ruffled leaves. Don't get too tall. Nice and bushy.
Yep, they're kind of like a long blade of grass almost, but real crinkly and hammered.
No,
No.
they're like short and bushy. Or
Oh, okay. Um, Not sure. That one might be the Wasilii. I don't know. How short are we talking?
nah, not that short. Like a little bit smaller than a Wendini.
Wendedii?
Yeah, sorry.
Wendini.
That's how they say it at the auctions down here in Florida. Okay.
Do they? So this next one I'm going to plant down in is the red Wendedii. And that's going to go over here in the front.
I didn't realize how far behind in chat I am in your chat. And Johnny said, "Crypt, is it necessary to remove the plant out of the pot, or can you just let them grow in the pot?"
So you can just let them grow in the pot, but you're going to notice over time they will get root bound. And
Not only that, they get root bound. I think they get starved. There's not a lot of nutrients in them. Some of the pots that come from the nursery have Osmocote pellets inside.
yeah, like this one here.
Exactly. But look, how exhausted are those? Those don't look fresh at all. You know what I mean? So um, there's not a lot of nutrients in them, and the crypts grow so fast when they're in the nursery that I think they use up a lot of those nutrients, and they don't have much to hang on to. So I would definitely throw them into the substrate and get them going. And then put like a little tiny Osmocote or a root tab under them. Are you doing anything like that for your setup?
Yeah, I do have some Osmocote upstairs I'm going to use, which I don't recommend it for a lot of people because you could potentially have some ammonia issues if you don't bury them deep enough or if they get uprooted. But I've done it a few times and I'm comfortable doing it. But if you don't have a backup plan, like having some prime on hand to be able to neutralize it or have time to do a water change, definitely don't use Osmocote. Use an actual root tab.
Yeah, that's why I like to just put one underneath each plant, get it as low as you possibly can. I was sprinkling it into the substrates when I was doing like the immersed growth bins and stuff like that outside, and then even the ponds a little bit. But I did notice with the ponds, the very first time I uprooted some of the plants, it got all over the place. So I'm gonna be only doing it in like long-term scapes and stuff like that.
Right. It's definitely a little bit safer if you do it a couple days before any fish go in. That way, you do have a little time to monitor it for any sort of issues. You can
So
take
I just
some.
got a notification from FedEx after I just watched the FedEx trip drive down the road. I don't even know what it is, so I'm gonna go find out.
All right. Maybe we'll get to see a live unboxing from the Garden of Eden today on the stream.
All right, I feel like I got bamboozled. I must have gotten the update from the nursery that the FedEx tracking label was made the same moment that FedEx drove down the road. I was like, I'm not getting plants today. They didn't ship it out yesterday, did they? But yeah, no. It's tomorrow.
Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go outside real quick, grab the hose, and start filling this back up.
Kelly Foreman joined us. Welcome.
Hey, Kelly, how you doing?
And Johnny asked Grant, I am at work on my lunch checking in if I was to win and I won't be present at the time. Would I lose my prize or what? That's a question for Tim, and I don't know when he's pulling the winner. I do know here in like 15 minutes I'm gonna have to run and go grab the kids from the bus stop. So that is on Tim. I don't know if he'll allow that or not. Looking for anybody's questions. You're all talking to yourselves. Kelly said, if I win, please send it to Sarah. I'll try to remind him if I'm there. Nathan said, I failed with Boost Brownie and haven't tried any again yet. So the problem with Boost is most of it is collected out of the wild. That's a good and a bad thing. The bad thing is it's being poached from places that it shouldn't be. The good thing is there's a lot of the exporters of Boost who are making connections with the developers so that way before they come through and clear out the land for palm oil production and stuff like that, they're able to access this land and basically go through and rip out all of the plants and stuff like that would otherwise just get destroyed. If it's not going to be just demolished and cleared out by the trucks, a lot of it's going to be poisoned by weed killer and stuff like that. That's going to be wiping out everything except for the palm oil production. So you definitely, find good and bad poachers because of these reasons. But a lot of these plants would be going extinct entirely if it wasn't for the people going in and taking the plants out before these areas are just completely wiped and leveled clean. So there is good and bad parts of the Boost trade. The other part is their tissue cultures. Tropica also has Boost that they're farming on a commercial level. The quality and size and everything like that just doesn't even come close to some of the clumps that are collected out of the wild and that are on the Indonesian and forget the other place where where the boost comes from, Borneo, and those areas. The farmers there might have perfect conditions and perfect environments and stuff like that, but the majority of the big boost farms that you see, those clumps are all harvested out of the wild, and they go through transitions where most of the year they're out of the water, some of the year they're underwater with the flood season, but a lot of melting and stuff like that happens. I hope you didn't throw the rhizome away before it totally uh, gave up on life. You might have had still a faint shot if the rhizome was hard at all. You'd be surprised what could rebound from those. But you can find a source of somebody that has been keeping their boost underwater for a while, and you'll have a lot higher success. Steven said I have maybe like 20 to 30 crypts in his tank, and he can identify maybe 10 of them. Johnny asked, what part of New York are you? I think he's in Buffalo.
Who's that, me?
Yeah.
I'm in Utica. It's like halfway between Syracuse and Albany.
I was wrong. I don't know why I thought you were in Buffalo. That's why I made the wing joke.
Yeah, Buffalo's like 2 hours from me or so. It's not too awful far.
Here I was thinking I could just take a trip to Buffalo and see three great friends. Chris Roma and Brandon Birdwell also live in Buffalo. They're old timers in the shrimp hobby. They're not really in it too much. Chris Roma's got like a crazy setup in his basement where he's got to like crawl through a crawl space to get to his Carradina tanks now. But I don't know why my dog is going ballistic. Why, dude? He's gonna make an appearance now. I just know it. I looked at him.
Yep.
He's like, oh, he's just looking at the computer. I'll walk away. So you all done planning out the crypts?
Yes, I am.
You got it on a slow fill now?
I do.
Is that RO water going in?
Nope, that's my good quality tap water with like the lead and everything else that it contains.
So it's tap water?
Yep. And that hose is definitely still slightly clogged because it's just trickling out of there.
Oh, you didn't unclog your hose from outside?
I let it run for a minute out there, hoping that it was all flushed through because I saw the water shooting right out, and hooked up the Python to the other end, so I had an on-off switch. And
what happens if we just see like a bunch of the old gravel just start coming through the hose on the way back in?
Then this whole project was a fail, and I have all the old gravel back in here.
I think a little bit of the old gravel won't be that bad.
Right. Okay, so just a reminder, hashtag 600 gets you entered into the giveaway, and that's going to be for some mini Christmas moss, round moss table, and a rectangle moss table. I'm going to draw it in about a minute.
Do you have any of the Brightwell Razor product?
I do not.
If the Blackbeard algae comes back at all, I highly recommend you take a look at that.
Oh, okay.
I know Flourish XL and hydrogen peroxide and stuff like that can also kill off a lot of the Blackbeard algae and stuff, but I find it like wants to come back more. But everything that I've dosed with like a triple regimen of the Razor, I never have algae come back in those tanks.
Oh, okay.
unless like I reintroduce something that causes it again. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It is not shrimp safe, but as long as you have an air stone in the tank, it's perfectly safe for fish. I've even overdosed it in fish tanks and not had any issues. So
Oh, okay. Good to know. So don't use it in any shrimp tanks, and definitely add some air if you're using it in a fish tank.
yeah.
All right, let's refresh this real quick. Does it say how many are in here? Try
And then
scrolling
Kelly
down.
said, "So you're saying growing
21.
plants in pots is bad?" I mean, it's not bad. It's just you're only gonna get so far until the plant's gonna need to be repotted, just like all potted plants. So
Right. Yeah. Why limit the space and growing capabilities if you have all that awesome soil in there? All right, I'm gonna hit refresh one last time, and then we're going to draw it. Good luck, everyone. 22 entries. Here we go.
Mimic said, "Are you planning on putting fish in the tank? I think you're putting the rainbows back, right?"
Mimic nature.
Congratulations, Mimic.
he
Send me
also
an
he also asked, "Are you planning on putting fish in the tank at the same time?"
I am going to be putting the fish back into the tank, but it's not going to be for a couple of days, just so that I can monitor for ammonia and stuff like that. If by tomorrow there's still zero ammonia, I might make the jump tomorrow afternoon. I'm not positive yet, but we're gonna play it slow and make sure that the animals are definitely staying safe. That's the first priority.
And
So
then you got
send
your
me
new filter coming tomorrow.
sometime next week. The canister should arrive, and that's when I'll hook up the CO2, and I'll do all of that on live stream and make a fool of myself once again.
What's powering the tank right now?
It's just Aqua Clear 110.
That's still a good filter, though.
Yep, but definitely insufficient for a 75 gallon. It's only the one filter I've got on it. Should definitely have some more filter flow than that. Within a week, it's clogging up, and the whole filter basket's like coming up out of the thing. So it's definitely a lot more maintenance than it should be.
And Kelly said, "Please tell that to Scotty. We can't get through to him." Well, certainly. I'll next time Scotty's streaming, just let me know and I'll pop in. So I heard you've been keeping pot of and I'll hound him just like we did when he had no minerals in his RO water for his shrimp.
So I just made that little video clip earlier today. Thought it would be hilarious.
You know, it would have been hilarious if you would have partook in my pictures. All right.
Yeah.
Do you worry about creation ammonia spikes when harvesting the crypts?
Not really, no. Harvesting the crypts isn't going to cause that much of a disturbance unless you're uprooting the whole entire tank. But even then, I've done that with the rotalas that I had up in the 20 gallon. I lost a couple of shrimp initially, like one a day for a few days, but feeding a bunch of extra botanicals and bee pollen, the whole colony sprang right back nice and healthy.
It takes a village to get Scotty to unlit his plants, unpot his plants.
He is starting, though, from what I've heard. He's starting to remove some of the pots slowly, and once he gets his new fish room up and going, he plans to do everything proper and remove all of the pots.
My phone is acting up. God. I gotta go get a new phone today. That's part of the reason why I'm like, dude, I got so much going on.
Mm-hmm. What phone are you going to go with?
Just the newest Galaxy.
Oh, okay. No, my iPhone takes awesome videos. Gets those shrimp real nice. So, do we want to do a second giveaway for another set of moss and tables?
Yeah, if you want. I gotta leave here in 2 minutes, so.
Okay. So we'll do this one here. We'll call it hashtag spiky because it's spiky moss. I'll put that on the screen in just a second. There you are. So everyone enter hashtag spiky. We'll do the drawing in about 5 minutes here. That's this 4-ounce cup of spiky moss. And I'll also provide another round table and a rectangle table for this winter. And the winners from today's giveaways, if you could give me an email, cryptkeeperaquatics@gmail.com. Give me your address and your channel name, and I'll be sure to get that set right off.
Well, I'm gonna have to slide out in a little bit. So thanks for having me up here, and
Thank you so much for stopping up. It's been a pleasure.
you gonna be on the whole time while you fill up the tank?
I don't believe so. I'm gonna probably take that hose out and start doing it by buckets, and I'll be back and forth through the room and don't want to trip on my laptop cord. It's just gonna go a little bit quicker with the buckets once the water gets up a little.
All right. So then after the bus stop, I will just get back to work and try and crank out these orders. I had another one get through. I'm probably not going to get to it. Only reason why I'm doing it is because Columbus Day is Monday. So all the orders that I don't ship out today will have to wait until next Tuesday. So.
All righty. Well, thank you so much once again, and have fun packing all those orders up.
Oh, you take care, man. Have a nice day. Later, everyone.
Yeah, you too. So, what's everyone up to today? Anything going on in your fish rooms? See if I can open up the co-hosts. Let one of you guys up here. All right, we'll open up panel. That way we can have a little bit of a conversation up here. So if anyone wants to join me, just go ahead and follow that link. So Frank's asking if I had 2 lives today. I did, Frank. So this morning I started the live stream off. I was emptying this tank out, catching all the fish, and making a lot of mistakes. It was a lot of fun. Grant was with me, both having a grand old time with it. And it got to a point where it was just kind of dragging a little bit, me trying to catch the fish. So we ended the stream while I finished emptying it out the rest of the way. And now we're back at it, and we're getting it filled back up. So Gina says that she's scrubbing algae at work halfway through the table systems. That's always super, super fun. So Steven's fish room calls to him, but work has him tied down. Work's always first, unfortunately, as much as I love to spend time with the fish and shrimp. So Nathan added some zucchini for the plecos and snails to remove them in laying in bed with a sore eye. I hope you feel better. I've never tried the zucchini for the plecos and snails. They do like cucumber, though. I've used that a couple of times. I took and tossed it into the freezer. That way it would help it to sink. It still didn't sink, so I had to stab it with a fork. Oh, have fun at that meeting, Stephen. So Kelly has a bunch of Monte Carlo, and it's soon going to be heading to Didi. That's super exciting. I've got a little bit that I got at the Keystone Clash last year. I don't have any CO2 running in that tank, so it's not really going super, super quick, but it does look nice still. Yeah, Nathan, definitely get it checked out. The worst thing you can possibly do is mess with your vision. I feel like I missed a message when it jumped earlier. Yeah, so Nate is trying to lower GH a little bit to introduce more tangerine tigers into neoparameters and grow that colony out. And he's also thinning out some heartwort. And I believe that's the fringed heartwort that he has, if I remember correctly. All right, last chance. Hashtag Spiky to enter the giveaway. Give it just another minute or so, and then I'm going to do the drawing. So refresh it, see how many entries we have. We have 17 so far. So if you don't see your name on this list, make sure you do hashtag Spiky. SPIKY. And I think I'm going to draw this one twice and then call it the end of the stream. The second time that I draw it, though, I'm going to give away a crypt package. So I'm going to choose 4 different crypts that I've got downstairs, and one of you lucky viewers is going to have it sent right off to you tonight. So thank you so much for everyone for coming out. Here we go. I'm going to refresh this last time, and then we're going to draw. Good luck, everyone. 20 entries. Let's go. Winner
Didi's
is Didi. You get the spiky moss and the the moss mounts. So thank you so much for playing. Let me pull this up one more time. Where'd it go? So hold on, I'm trying to get this giveaway tool back up for you all. Okay, got it back up. So, last chance. I'm going to refresh right now. Good luck, everyone. And this is going to be for 4-potted crypts. And all the winners, all 3 of you, make sure you send me an email later today, cryptkeeperaquatics@gmail.com, and I will get them sent right off to you. Here we go.
Kelly Foreman.
Congratulations, Kelly. All right. So there's the giveaways. The tank is filling up. I'll be sure to post up some pictures in my community tab later today after it's completely filled up. That way you can see everything that's been done once the water fills it in. Thank you all for coming out. It's been a great day, a lot of fun. Thank you once again to the Garden of Eden for coming on stream not once but twice with me today. Thank you to all of my lovely mods for sharing links and everything that you do. So thank you all so much, and I'll see you all next time.